1. Former DTI Exec Ruth Castelo tapped as new OVP spokesperson. 2. Meet VP Sara Duterte's new spokesperson, Ruth Castelo. 3. Breaking news. Ruth Castelo named VP Sara Duterte's new spokesperson. Philippine politics update. 1. Former DTI Exec Ruth Castelo tapped as new OVP spokesperson. Here's a twist that could reshape how we view government communications. A former top official from the Department of Trade and Industry, DTI, is now leading the office of the Vice President's OVP messaging efforts. Ruth Castelo, who previously served as DTI Undersecretary for Consumer Protection from 2016 to 2023, has officially taken on the role of OVP spokesperson. This move comes after a press conference where President Sara Duterte's team emphasized the importance of maintaining a positive public image for the office. But here's where it gets interesting. Castelo's appointment isn't just about political connections, it's tied to her personal convictions and a history of standing by her principles. For context, the OVP spokesperson role has seen several changes in recent years. Before Castelo, Michael Poa held the position briefly in 2024 and Reynold Munciac served from 2022 to 2023. Castelo, however, stands out because she didn't wait for an invitation, she actively applied for the role. I personally submitted an application to help the OVP, she explained, highlighting her belief in Vice President Duterte's vision. But this isn't just about loyalty, it's about purpose. Duterte herself clarified that the spokesperson's job isn't about politics or personal agendas. It's not political, it's not for me, she stated, stressing that the focus should be on showcasing the OVP's achievements. Castelo echoed this, saying she was instructed to avoid being an attack dog, a term that sparks debate. What does it mean to not be an attack dog? Does it imply a lack of accountability, or is it a strategic choice to prioritize transparency over confrontation? Castelo's journey to this role isn't without controversy. She revealed she was placed on a floating status at the DTI in 2023 under the Marcos administration. While she didn't elaborate on the specifics, her comments suggest she faced pushback for her work in consumer protection. "I did what any honest official would do and it landed me in hot water," she said. This raises questions. How do government officials navigate conflicts between ethical decisions and institutional pressures? And does her past experience make her better equipped to handle the OVP's challenges? What's clear is that Castelo sees this role as a chance to give back to the country. She described Duterte as a direct extension of her father, referencing her time working under former President Rodrigo Duterte. But this connection also invites scrutiny. Should a spokesperson's personal ties to a leader influence their objectivity? Or is it a testament to their commitment to a shared vision? As Castelo steps into her new role, one thing is certain, the OVP's messaging strategy will face close examination. Will she balance firmness with diplomacy as she communicates the office's goals? And how will her background in consumer protection shape her approach to public relations? The answers could set a precedent for future government communications. What do you think? Do you believe Castelo's experience and principles will strengthen the OVP's public image, or could her past conflicts create new challenges? Share your thoughts below, this is a conversation worth having. 2. Meet VP Sara Duterte's new spokesperson, Ruth Castelo. Introducing Ruth Castelo, the newly appointed spokesperson for Vice President Sara Duterte, who is ready to take on her role with a commitment to transparency and straightforward communication. On July 9, 2025, Castelo held her inaugural press conference in Mandaluyong City, marking the beginning of her journey in this significant position. In her own words, Castelo emphasized, "I am not here to sling any mud to anyone, and my directive from the Vice President is to convey messages clearly and honestly." This statement sets the tone for her approach, which is focused on reporting facts rather than engaging in aggressive rhetoric. When asked about her role, she firmly stated, "I will not be an attack dog. I will not go on the offensive. I will just report. I'll be straightforward, reporting on what message the office of the Vice President needs to communicate." Interestingly, Castelo addressed speculation that her appointment was a strategic move to counterbalance palace spokesperson Claire Castro, who is known for her candid and often provocative responses to criticisms aimed at President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Castelo clarified, "I'm here as spokesperson for the office of the Vice President. I am not here to sling any mud to anyone. My marching order is to be forthright in the message that I will need to convey." Her appointment comes at a time when both House and Senate impeachment courts have recently designated their own spokespersons, highlighting the political landscape's complexity. Castelo made it clear that lawyer Michael Poa, a member of Duterte's defense team, will handle any issues related to impeachment. Before stepping into this role, Castelo served as the Undersecretary for the Consumer Protection Group at the Department of Trade and Industry, DTI, from 2018 until 2023. Her tenure was not without controversy. She was placed on floating status following a complaint of grave misconduct and abuse of authority related to a raid she authorized on TYT Lucky Steel Corporation in Davao City. However, she stated that the ombudsman dismissed the complaint against her, and she is still awaiting updates regarding a disbarment case filed by the steel company. Reflecting on her past experiences, Castelo remarked, "I did something that any honest working official in the government would do. I was put in hot water for that, and so I was floated. Eventually, I left the department in December 2023. My eagerness to serve as the spokesperson for the office of the Vice President is my way of giving back to the country what I believe it deserves." She added, "It was not a good separation for me from the department because I was doing what was right and what the country needed." As Ruth Castelo steps into this pivotal role, her commitment to clear communication and her past experiences will undoubtedly shape her approach. But what do you think? Is her focus on transparency enough in today's political climate, or do you believe a more aggressive stance is necessary? Share your thoughts in the comments. 3. Breaking news. Ruth Castelo named VP Sara Duterte's new spokesperson. Philippine politics update. In a significant development for the office of the Vice President, OVP, former Trade Undersecretary Ruth Castelo has been appointed as the new spokesperson, a role she officially assumed on Wednesday. This appointment comes after a prolonged period during which the OVP was without a spokesperson following Michael Poa's departure from the position in November 2024. Castelo revealed that her interest in the role was proactive. She submitted her application to the OVP herself. In her inaugural press conference, she emphasized that there was no need for persuasion from Vice President Sara Duterte or her team. There was no convincing on the part of the Vice President or the staff. "They did not need to convince me," Castelo stated, highlighting her eagerness to contribute to the OVP. "I actually submitted an application for any position where I can help in the OVP," she added, showcasing her commitment to public service. As the spokesperson, Castelo will represent the OVP and Vice President Duterte in her official capacity as the second highest official in the country. When questioned about her directives from the Vice President, Castelo clarified that she was instructed to maintain a straightforward approach and to avoid being an attack dog. "Number one, I am not an attack dog. So, not being an attack dog, I will not go on the offensive. I will just report. I'll be straightforward, report on what message the office of the Vice President means," she explained. This statement raises an interesting point about the role of spokespersons in political offices. Should they be advocates or neutral reporters? Moreover, Castelo mentioned that she was encouraged to be both firm and soft as the situation demands, indicating a nuanced approach to her new responsibilities. She expressed a personal connection to Vice President Duterte, stating, "I see myself in the Vice President. And of course she's a direct extension of her father, whom I served for the full 6-year term." Reflecting on her departure from the Department of Trade and Industry, DTI, where she served from 2016 to 2023, Castelo explained that she was placed on a floating status under the current administration. She candidly admitted that her exit was not amicable as she felt she was acting in the best interest of the country. "I was Undersecretary for the Consumer Protection Group and I did something that any honest working official in a government would do. And I was put in hot water for that, and so I was floated and then I eventually left the department in December," she recounted. Castelo's enthusiasm for her new role stems from her desire to give back to the country, stating, "My being keen on being the spokesperson of the office of the Vice President is my way of returning or giving back to the country what I know it deserves and what I know that it means." With this appointment, Castelo becomes the third individual to hold the spokesperson position at the OVP, following Michael Poa and attorney Reynold Munciak, who served from 2022 to 2023. What do you think about her approach to this role? Do you believe a spokesperson should maintain neutrality, or should they actively defend their office? Share your thoughts in the comments.